What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market did well today, guys. S&P 500 up 0.5%, the Dow Jones up 1.1%, and the Nasdaq 100 broke even. But don't worry, because the Russell 2000 ended up going up over 1.8% on the day. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over the top 10 hottest stocks that I'm looking to buy right now. And I want to share with you guys what I've been doing in the stock market, what stocks am I currently holding, and in general, where my head is at overall as a trader and as an investor. So make sure to hit that like button. Let's try to get 450 likes on this video. I challenge you guys, subscribe to the channel, join our free Discord chat and Facebook group, link down below, and get your 4 free stocks. You heard it right, 4 free stocks from WeBull, valued up to $1,600, using that link in the description box. So let's get into it, guys. S&P 500 today, again, up 0.5%, up 20 points. And for the third Monday in a row, you heard that right, guys, third Monday in a row, we got some V-shot news. And you guys know what that is. That's the code word that we're using here on the channel, the V-shot. Originally, we got news from Pfizer, right, 90% efficacy rate. Then last week, right, 2 Mondays ago, we got Pfizer. Then last week, we got Moderna, about 95% efficacy rate. And then this week, today, we got news from the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca, ticker symbol AZM, that they revealed that their candidate for the V-shot demonstrated an efficacy rate of 70.4%, so much lower than the previous two in 2 large-scale trials, whatever. If a lower dose is used, then a second full dose, if they use that, the efficacy will go up to about 90%. Pretty similar to, Pfizer and Moderna. That's what the company said today. So for the third straight week, guys, it's crazy. They planned this stuff to come out on Monday, it seems like. And yeah, it pushed the markets up. Let's just put it that way, right? A lot of the recovery stocks did well today. Notice how the Nasdaq, we'll get into that in a second, but the Nasdaq was flat. Tech stocks went down today, but the Dow was up over 300 points, almost getting the 30,000. It's still down about 400 from that very, very monumental 30,000 point. But yeah, I mean, recovery stocks are doing well. Tech is struggling. And when it comes to the S&P, which has a mixture of both, it obviously didn't do too bad itself, right? Again, up 0.5%. And when it comes down to the technicals here on the S&P, where we're at right now, we're right under a big resistance, no doubt about it, right under 35.85. That's where we struggled back on the 11th of this month. We failed at 35.85, right? And then last week, we failed there multiple times. If you guys take a look here on the 5-day, 5-minute, we failed there on Thursday and Friday at about 35.85. And would you take a look today? It's almost like the technicals matter, which they do matter, guys. That's a joke, right? Because we got hit at 35.85 this morning. We failed, we dropped, we popped right back up to 35.85, and what do you know? We failed and we dropped heading into the closing at about 35.77. And you guys remember that head and shoulder that's potentially playing out here on the S&P 500? Well, it's still intact because we're still under that neckline at about 35.85. So if we end up selling off tomorrow, maybe filling the gap down to 35.50, that could be almost the completion of the right shoulder here, especially if 35.45 breaks and we fill the gap down to 34.85. But on the flip side here, as you guys might guess, actually no, not 34.85, 35.10, 35.15, right? If we fill the gap from 35.45 down to 35.15, that would be the completion of the right shoulder. But on the flip side, if we break out of 35.85, we break this 50 SMA on this hourly chart, the head and shoulder gets scrapped, right? And we pretty much are going to fill the gap, most likely. Nothing's guaranteed, but we might fill the gap up to 36.30 and mess with those levels and maybe break them that we were at back on the 16th of November through the 18th of November. And honestly, on that original Monday where the Pfizer news came out, we might be testing those levels as well between 36.30 and the all-time high at 36.45. So point of the story, moral of the story is 35.85 is the level to watch. And when it comes down to the Dow Jones, again, we're down almost 400 points from that very, very monumental 30,000 level. What we notice is a very similar pattern playing out, potentially a head and shoulder, right? Especially because we're still under the neckline, which is right around 29,700. We struggled there back in the 9th of November through, let's say, the 12th of November. We hit the head here at about 29,960. That was the head of the head and shoulder that's potentially forming. And now we're in potentially the formation of the right shoulder. That's if we end up falling and filling the gap down to 28,900 to about 29,000, right? If that happens, we'll complete the right shoulder. And especially if 29,000 breaks and we start going into the lower 28,000s, that would be an even more textbook head and shoulder. Let's just put it that way. But on the flip side, if we break 29,700 on the upside, which could happen here, guys, especially since we got the V-Shop news, which has been pushing up a lot of the Dow stocks. If we break 29,700, it's likely we're going straight to 30,000. And again, that's a big, big monumental point for the Dow. So for tomorrow and the rest of this week, and by the way, guys, we do have a short week this week, so keep that in mind. But for tomorrow and the rest of this week, I am watching 29,700 resistance. That is big time. That is going to be a big, big point to test there. When it comes down to the Nasdaq 100, still under a big resistance from last week on the 12th. Actually, no, that was not last week. The week before that, on the 12th, right? 11th, 12th of November here. We failed at about 11,960. We failed under that point again today. And if we break 11,960, maybe tomorrow at some point this week, we might be going up to test that 12,030 level that we failed at last week, right? Pretty much all of last week. And today, you guys can see here on the intraday chart, Nasdaq 100 failed right around 12,000. We tanked down to 11,800, held that support, filled the gap back up pretty much to 11,950. Then we ended up closing at 11,900. So for the Nasdaq 100 at this point, again, tech is struggling. It's not doing so well because when we get that news that, okay, there's a V-shot coming out, a lot of the stay-at-home plays, a lot of the tech stocks, they lose on that news. But like I've been saying on the channel a lot, I'm not going straight to recovery stocks right now. I still think tech has potential, as we're going to see, and we're already seeing it, lockdown, spikes in cases, more staying at home. That's just a formula for success when it comes to the tech stocks. So I'm not worried about tech. It's just consolidating, right? It just hasn't really made any significant moves pretty much this whole month. I mean, stemming back even in the beginning of October, you guys can see the Nasdaq 100 has been flat pretty much other than the sell-off to 11,100. I mean, other than that sell-off, it's been flat, pretty much capped out at 12,000. So I think if 12,000, 12,150 can break, this thing's going to go off to the races, and we'll see how it ends up going down. We might get some sort of Santa Claus rally, which you guys have seen before in the markets. That could happen again this year. Who knows, right? And that could push up tech. So overall, that is it when it comes to the market update. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we're trying to get 20,000 subscribers before 2020. And honestly, I think we can do it. I think we could do it. So let's talk about what I personally did today. And guys, we'll talk about the EV stocks here in a couple of minutes, but for one that I actually own, Workhorse, I ended up locking in half of my position today at $28.05. That is where I locked it in earlier on in the day. You guys can see here on the intraday chart, we saw a ridiculous pop this morning. Was it a short squeeze? It could have been a short squeeze, right? We saw a rally from 26.75 all the way up to 28.40, filling that entire gap that we've been talking about here on the channel like that, right? It filled very quickly, and I've been talking about that, right? And I said, ever since we broke 25.30, it's likely to fill the gap to 28.30. We talked about that literally yesterday, Friday, in many videos here, and we did that, right? We filled the gap up to those resistance points where we actually failed back in the end of September, and in the middle of October, we failed at about 28 to 30 bucks. So I just locked in some profits because we failed there back in those months of September and October, right? Just to take some risk off the table. It's never a bad idea to lock in some profits, right, guys? So I was actually in Workhorse from $24. I actually added more a couple days ago. I forget exactly what day, but I added more at $19.50, bringing my cost down to about $22-ish. So needless to say, I mean, I locked in a pretty good profit today on those shares, almost 20, a little bit over 20% actually, and I'm letting the other half of the position ride here. And you guys can see, I mean, ever since I locked in the profits, the stock's up over $1 from that point, which is why it's decent. It's a decent idea to maybe keep some skin in the game as well, but at the same time taking risk off the table just to play it safe, just to book some profits. So yeah, that's what I did with Workhorse. I locked in some profits there, and I actually added a position into BABA. And by the way, guys, I think Workhorse, and I'll be honest with you, I think Workhorse is getting a bit overextended. That's another reason why I locked in. I think it's getting a bit hot here, but I know very well that it could go up even further, which is why I'm keeping the skin in the game. But yeah, 84 RSI, you got to be careful. Let's just put it that way. And I ended up adding Alibaba today at about, what, 269.30? Let me see my notes here, guys. 269.35. That's what it was. Yep. Ended up adding a good amount of a position here on Baba. I'll probably add more to it, but it was a large chunk of my goal position, let's put it that way, was added today. And I've been liking Baba, right? You know, ever since, we've been talking about it, right? Ever since the 250, 260 levels here last week, and especially since we gapped out of 265 and broke this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart, that really piqued my interest. And if you guys remember, back today, this morning, pre-market, we were in the mid to high 270s, and we took a big hit from 276 to 266, right? That was a drop of about 3.5%. And honestly, that's what originally piqued my interest here with Baba, that big drop there. And I ended up adding after this drop and the spike back up again at 269.35. I think it was right around here. And now after hours, it's up to almost 272. So I'm already up a good, not an amazing amount of my position, but I'm up about 1%, 1.2%. And hey, I'll take that, right? It's better than 0%. It's better than 0%. And overall, I think Baba has a long ways to go. I think it could get back to 290 to 300. That's where I'm looking to lock in some profits. But then again, if we spike up to 285 in a short amount of time, which is another target I'm seeing here, it was an old support over the past couple of months. Let's say we filled the gap up there this week, I'd probably lock in profits there as well. So I have two targets, 285, 295, 300. Let's say three targets there on Alibaba. So that's what I pretty much did today, guys, and I'm still in Apple SLV, which, guys, the precious metals today, they took a beating, right? They took a beating. SLV is down about 2% today. So I'm down a little bit on SLV, but again, this is a hedge. This is a hedge type of play. And Apple ended up going down today, which really is because of, again, the V-Shop news. Tech in general took a hit, so Apple went down about 3%. Close to my cost basis now at about 112, and maybe I'll add more to Apple here because this is one of my longer-term swings. Same thing with EA. EA has been kind of consolidating the past couple of days, pretty much the past week and a half, at about 120, 122. Now we're looking to test big resistance at 124. If we break that, I think EA could be a runner. So overall, guys, that's what I'm involved with, right? Baba, Workhorse, Apple, SLV, and EA. And let me know what you guys are doing. Drop a comment down below. I would love to know what you guys are up to. Now let's talk about a bunch of stocks, and we'll start off with the madness that's going on in the electric vehicle sector, guys, which is unbelievable. Let me tell you, man, this stuff is nuts. NIO today ended up going up 12.4%. And is it up after hours? Don't even get me started. Is it up? It's up after hours, of course. It closed at 55.30, up 12%. Now it's flirting with 57 after hours. Oh my goodness, guys. This is insanity, right? On the 4-hour chart now, you guys can see we're getting extremely overbought, right? Over the 70 RSI, we're at 76. And do you guys remember yesterday, last video I made, at the end of the video, if you guys stuck till the end, I was saying that it was a good sign that NEO held 44.45 and broke up, I believe, on Friday. Let me double check that. Yeah, bucks sold off, closed at about 48. That was pretty bullish, right? And I said I wouldn't be surprised if NEO this week were to break up to the 50s and maybe break out of that high, and it did it again, guys. It did it again. So at this point, I would not chase NEO. I'll be honest with you guys. I would not FOMO into NEO. It's overbought. I personally have a long-term position in NEO, so I'm making money either way. But if I'm looking to trade this thing, I wouldn't chase it here. I'd probably wait for any sort of pull down, and I'd play the momentum, because at this point, it's no question the hottest stocks out there are the electric vehicle stocks and the charging station stocks, which are crushing it as well. We'll talk about that in a second. So NEO at this point, it's hot, but wait for the pull down. I'm telling you guys, it's not worth chasing, at least in my opinion. And by the way, you can do whatever you want. It's my channel, so it's my opinion. You don't have to take my opinion. Again, it's my opinion. And if you guys want to, let me know what you guys are doing, again, drop a comment. I'd love to know if you guys disagree with me or agree with me. And another couple here, electric vehicle plays, XPEV, a Chinese maker, up 34% today. 34%. You heard it right. 34%, up $20 on the day. Closed at 72. Now after hours, it's up to almost $75 per share. And again, like NEO, this one, if you're in it, I'm not in it, but if you're in it, you're making a crap ton of money. Oops, almost knocked my water bottle over there. But you're making a lot of money, but I wouldn't chase it. I think the boat has sailed. At this point, it needs to pull down. Whether it's to $50, I don't think, maybe that won't even happen because it's up so much, but maybe 60, 65. Again, that could be a place it pulls down, and I'm personally not chasing it. Another one is Li Auto, ticker symbol LI. Not up as much as XPEV, but still up 15% on the day. Closed at 43.60. Now it's up to 45.35 after hours. Oh my goodness. What do you guys think? I don't like saying we're in a bubble, right? I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, but do you guys think we're going to see an overall correction in these EV stocks? Maybe next year, maybe later. 2020 is almost over, so maybe next year, 2021. Do you think we'll see some sort of correction? Again, I'm not saying it's a bubble, but I'd really just be interested. I'm interested in what you guys think. If you think we're going to sell off a bit, or is this insanity going to continue? These insane runs that we're seeing, right? So the Chinese plays are going crazy, and the charging station plays, starting off with BLNK. And let me tell you guys, this is one that you guys DM'd me on Instagram a ton, at Stas if you guys want to follow me there for updates and call-outs throughout the day. But this is one that I was getting DMs about last week, about a week and a half ago. I was scrolling through my DMs. I'm like, all right, BLNK, cool. Another one was SBE, which we'll get into, cool. And I didn't pay too much mind to it. I didn't put any money into it. But like I said before, sometimes you look back and you're like, crap, I should have put money into that. And yeah, BLNK, Blink, charging up almost 50% today. And it's up, oh my God, it's up even more, up to $38 here after hours. It closed at 33. Now it's up another $5 after hours. So it's up another 15% after hours. So we're talking a move here of 65% almost in a day. So yeah, if you're in this, congratulations, you made a lot of money. But me, I'm not chasing it here. Even if it pulled down to like $30, I'd still be skeptical to get into this just because of how extended it is. Look at the RSI. It's almost off the page. And SBE is another one here, guys, which is almost off the page. Pretty much is. Up 30% today. Switchback Energy, they're taking ChargePoint public here. They were literally $15 a couple days ago. Now they're almost $40 per share. So these companies, these stocks, guys, I don't want to say they're bubble status. I don't want to say we're in the euphoria stage, but I feel like we're slowly getting to the euphoria stage. And I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm just telling you guys how I'm feeling. I'm a bit, I'm not FOMO into it. I'm a bit skeptical at this point, and I want to see a pull down. I want to see a healthy pull down across these different stocks, right? So let me know your thoughts on those down below. Another one here I'm watching, not related to the EVs, is BBY, Best Buy. They're actually reporting earnings tomorrow, and by the way, earnings season is pretty much over, but Best Buy is one to look forward to for tomorrow. Probably, okay, it's in the morning. I was going to say after hours, but it's in the morning. So this could be a play in the beginning of the day, right? Pre-market, we'll see what they report, how the stock's reacting, volume, and so forth, right? But at this point on the 4-hour chart, what we're noticing is a break out of an ascending, it's kind of like an ascending triangle, right? We saw resistance at about 120 to about 123. We uptrended into that resistance. Now we're bursting out of it. So I think in the short term, BBY could fill the gap maybe from 123 up to 128. That gives it about a 4% upside here. And I think that's possible, especially on a good earnings report. So BBY, it's worth watching. It went up 2.4% today. Check out those earnings tomorrow. Another one here is GME, also known as GameStop. Found a nice support at $11. We actually hit that high of $11 back in the end of September. So the fact that we consolidated above it at $11 for multiple days, now we're breaking out of both moving averages on the 4-hour chart. That is a very good sign that momentum is shifting back up here for GameStop. I'm very happy with it. And you could argue that, it's a bit overextended. It went up 9% today. But I think any sign of a pull down could be an entry here, as I think GameStop overall is going to get to about $15. It might do a little cup and handle there. We'll see. It might drop, or actually no, it might pop to $15 and then maybe sell off from there and maybe break back above 15. We'll see. But overall, I think anywhere from, let's say if it pulls down $13.50 back up to $14.50, $15, I think that's possible here on GameStop. And TTCF, good old tattooed chef, we called this out yesterday as well. And not to toot my own horn, I don't like doing that. I'm a humble guy, to be honest. But a lot of the stocks we called out yesterday, they're all up. It's weird. It's weird. It's almost like I had a time machine yesterday. Tattooed Chef is up. We called that out. Workhorse is up a ton. NNDM, we'll get into that later. It went up 20% today. What other ones did we call out? We called out NEO, we said that was going to potentially go up, right? It went up a ton. So a lot of these stocks are doing well. Tattooed Chef up 10%. It's about to test. Oh, Square's another one. Square's another one that went up a ton, right? So a lot of these stocks are just crushing it, guys. And Tattooed Chef is getting to that point that we mentioned yesterday at about $18.50, $18.60. I mean, it's still off a bit, about $1 off, but it's getting there. And we're right under that 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, which has been resistance in the past couple of weeks. So I'm thinking, hey, Tattooed Chef, if it breaks this 50 SMA at about 1736, that's where the 50 SMA is here on the 4-hour chart, we might fill the gap up to 1860, and then that's the real test. If 1860 can break, I think Tattooed Chef can break up even higher into the low 20s. So that is one worth watching here. Tesla is another one that just blew everybody's mind today. Not as much as the Chinese players, but still, it did well. Up 6.5%, up $32. Now it's flirting with all-time highs at about $540, $538.75 to be exact, and it's up about $6 after hours. It seems like all of these EVs are up after hours here a ton, and the charging stations. And for me, guys, like the other EVs, I'm not FOMOing into Tesla here, but I think if we pull down anything low 500s is a buy point. If we end up holding 500 as support, and we might go and gun for the all-time high at that point if we pull down. Who knows? We might not pull down. We might go straight to 538, which is also very possible, simply due to the momentum that we're seeing in Tesla and all the other stocks pretty much in the EV sector, right? So check out Tesla from 500, 530, 540. There's potential there. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, is another one here which is squeezing and squeezing deeper and deeper into that resistance at $88, and we're making an uptrend or making higher lows into that resistance. This is looking like an ascending triangle on AMD, and I think we're going to squeeze out of 88 eventually, 87, 88, and that's where the big move's going to come from, about 87.50, maybe up to the low 90s, mid 90s, maybe 90, 94 bucks, which could be around, a 7% move. So watch out for this ascending triangle on AMD. The break out of there, I think there's a lot of potential above $88 here on AMD. And Beyond Meat's another one that we've been calling out here on the channel. Did well today, up 3%, up 440. We've been breaking support, or rather resistance after resistance after resistance, right? We held 125, broke 137. Now we filled the gap up to 146, right? Pretty much for the most part. Now we're pulling down a bit into the low 140s. So I think in the short term, Beyond Meat is going to struggle a little bit under 146. It seems like it is. If you guys take a look here on the intraday chart, we did hit 144, a bit shy of that point, and sold off from there. And granted, it's a healthy pull down considering on Friday we were at 133. So we went from 133 to 144. Now we pulled down to 140. That's pretty healthy, right? So for tomorrow, or the rest of this week, I'm looking, okay, do we fill the gap up to 145? Do we break that and then maybe fill the gap up to the high 150s? I think that is, personally, I think that's possible. I think that's where we're heading, and that's what I'm personally watching here. And another thing worth noting, there's a bullish cross here, right? 50 SMA crossing above 180 SMA. That's a bullish technical sign there on Beyond Meat, so I'm watching that closely. And CCL is one of those recovery stocks that did well today, up almost 5%, up 81 cents. And now we're squeezing our way into a resistance, an ascending triangle, very similar to AMD. We're making higher lows, but we're seeing resistance at 1830 to about 1850, right? And I think if we break that point, we might fill the gap up to 2110, which we were at earlier this month of November in 2020. So this is what I'm looking at on CCL. Take a look here on the hourly chart, guys. If 1850 breaks, we're off to the races, in my opinion. So I'm going to set an alert, actually. I probably should have set alerts on the other stocks. I'll go back later and do that. But for this one, I'm going to put an alert. 1850 is at or above. If that breaks, I know momentum is shifting out of 1850. And I mean, guys, take a look here. It's been struggling at 1850, 1830. Other than that one breakout earlier this month, other than that one time, it's been struggling there for the most of this year, ever since, the end of June, right? We saw the big drop under 1850, and we haven't been above there since, other than that one time earlier this month. So CCL is worth watching. Palantir is another one. PLTR, guys, went up 16% today, up almost $3. And this one's not at a dip buy, obviously. I'm not looking to chase it right now, but I'm keeping my eyes on it because there's momentum, right? Watching momentum stocks is important because when you see pull downs, when you see drops, there could be entry points. And I think PLTR is one of those. When we see a drop, we see a little bit of consolidation, it could open up an entry point. So I'm watching Palantir here. Maybe if it gets down to about 1950, that could be an entry point. And like I said earlier, we called out NNDM yesterday, and it went up 16% today, almost 17%. They actually offered, or they did a direct offering. They're going to do, 100 million. Was it 100 million shares? I'm forgetting now. Let me look at the live news tab. They're doing a share offering, right? And that actually tanked the stock's price on Friday down 25%. And to me, that was looking like a dip buy, right? From 640 down to $4. We held 4 at this 180 SMA on the hourly chart at a higher low. And today, guys, you guys saw the gap up and the rally. And honestly, I think there's more in store. Maybe back up into the high 5s, low 6s here on NNDM. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. We covered a bunch of stocks. If you did, hit that like button. Again, let's try to get 450 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your 4 free stocks from WeBull valued up to $1,600. That actually runs out. Excuse me, guys. That actually runs out at the end of November here, so make sure to use that link, deposit $100, and you get your 4 free stocks. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, guys. That's the most important thing, and peace out.